Hey there. Let's write some temporary code in the index.js file to explore how classes work. First up, we're going to create that generic animal class that was brought up earlier in the overview. So with the class keyword, let's make the animal class. Then we have the class body with a pair of curly braces. For our class, the one method that we definitely want to implement is the special constructor method. So add the constructor method right away. This method allows us to define the properties that instances of this class will have. For the animal class, that was name and age. And to attach those properties, we'll use the special this keyword. So have this.name as well as this.age. The this keyword is a powerful one. It's a special object that gets recreated uniquely for every instance of the class. So one animal instance is going to have its own this object. A second animal instance will also have its own this object to work with as well. This will get more clear once we actually create instances of the animal class. All right, next let's provide some input parameters to the constructor. The input parameters are used to pass in values when we're actually creating instances of the class. The two parameters that we want for now are going to be name and age, and that matches the current properties that we have defined for the animal class. With these inputs, we need to make sure that the instances have their properties set to these matching values. So we'll make sure that this.name is equal to the incoming name value. Likewise, the age property is going to be equal to the incoming age value. Finally, for this animal class, let's add a speak method. So it's going to have another method besides the constructor, and this is going to be called speak. In this speak method, let's fire console.log of the name and age in an overall message. So in its own line, we'll have a console.log that says I am, this.name, and then and I am is the third input, and then this.age is the fourth input, and then the final input is years old. So you can have as many parameters to the console.log as you like, and in between each parameter, you're going to find that there's a space printed in between the inputs. Cool. Now let's create actual instances of this animal class. We're going to create two of them. And first, let's assign a variable for the first one called animal1. So make this a constant, and a constant cannot be reassigned. To make the instance, you use the new keyword. And then you directly refer to the class name. So we have the animal. And then to invoke the instructor of the animal class, we have a pair of parentheses. And now we can pass in values for the name and age of this instance. For this animal1 instance, let's say that the name is Simba. And then the age is going to be 3. Cool. Now that we have the animal class, we can call its speak method. So let's have animal1 do a speak. So fire animal1.speak. All right. If you don't have the application running already, head to the command line and fire npm run start in the portfolio directory once you have all of these changes. So make sure in the command line you have npm run start going, and once it's there, visit the application in the browser. Go to the console tab in the developer console. If you do a fresh restart, you're going to see the log of I am Simba and I am 3 years old. Cool. So from the speak method, we get the log of I am this.name, which was Simba, and I am this.age, which was 3 years old. Very nice. Let's take a closer look at the actual animal by adding a log of the animal1 object itself. Now I'm going to use a tool called SizeUp to move this on the right. So this is the SizeUp tool. It is a paid developer tool, but there are free alternatives out there that do a very similar window resizing functionality. The purpose is that I just want to see the logs on the right while I make changes here on the left. But again, let's look at the actual instance itself by doing a direct log of the animal1 object. As I save that, create React app will pick up the change, and here is the log of the animal object. So here, it has a property of age, which is 3, and the property of name, which was Simba. Cool, so that is our actual animal class instance. All right, nice. That covers a generic class. Now let's move on to the concept of inheritance. We've seen this with React extending the component class already from React. Now let's apply this to a new line class that extends the animal class. So in our code, let's make a new class called lion. And this will use the extends keyword to extend our existing animal class. The benefit is that we now have a line class with all the properties and methods from the original animal class. But then it can define its own properties and methods in addition to that. The one catch though is that the constructor for this needs to have the same starting parameters as the original class. So it needs a name and age. But after that, we can declare new inputs for the lion, like fur color and speed. So here's fur color. I'm using camel casing, so make sure that the C is capitalized to combine words into one word. And then speed is that fourth parameter. Now, you might be wondering if we have to do this.name equals name in the constructor, as well as this.age equals age in the constructor if we're extending the animal. But that code already exists in the constructor of the animal class. So in this situation, to invoke the constructor of the parent class, we use the super keyword. So we can pass in the name and the age to the constructor of our parent class, which will take care of setting this.name and this.age already within the line. And after that, we're going to do similar code to set the fur color property to the incoming fur color value and the speed to the incoming speed value. Nice. Now the line class can have its own unique roar method to work with its new properties. So let's add a roar method within here. And this will do a console.log, and let's have it say roar. I have this.fur color, and this line is going to be rather long, so I'll go ahead and extend out my window. Fur, and I can run this.speed miles an hour. Make sure you have that entire roar method. To make it more readable, actually, I'm going to place each of these inputs on its own line so that way it fits within the view. And with that, I'm also going to make an instance of the line class. So we're going to have a new constant, call this line1. And this time we're going to make an instance of the line class. Let's call this guy Mufasa. The age is 20. Golden is the fur color, and the speed is 25. Now we can make this line1 speak just like the original animal, since it's going to have access to the method originally declared in the animal class. So we can call line1.speak, but likewise we can do a line1.roar since that's defined within the line class. We can also log the line1 object to check it out in greater detail. Now as you save this, you should find that the browser now contains a log of I am Mufasa, cool, the speak method worked, then also roar. So it uses the golden fur color property and the 25 speed property. And the instance itself is based on the line class as seen by the line class name within the actual log. All right, so that covers how the class and inheritance system works in JavaScript. And that gives us some insight into the React component inheritance model. So in the app.js file, our app component extends the component class. Therefore, this makes the app component inherit properties and methods that were originally defined in the component class from React. We can take a look at what those methods and properties are. In the app.js file, let's declare two new classes. One is going to be a regular JavaScript class that doesn't extend the component class, and the other one will extend the component class. So above the app component, let's create a regular class. This one won't extend anything, but then we'll create a component class, and this extends the component that we're getting from the React module. All right. Now that we have these classes, well, we can create instances of the classes. So let's make a huge constant called regular class instance. That is the result of a new instance of the regular class. And for comparison, we'll do the same thing for a component class instance constant. That is an instance of the component class that we have above. In order to dig into these, let's add a log of both. So add a console.log of regular class instance. Go ahead and copy the name and paste it in to save some time. And then I'll do the same for the component class instance. So add a log of component class instance and then the actual object itself. So make sure you have all of that code, and once you do, save the file. And then you can check out the logs in the application. And then give it a refresh. And what you'll find at the top is that we have this regular class instance, which is indeed an object based on the regular class type. But then we have this component class instance, which didn't do anything different but extend the component class. But if you expand it, it has all these inner methods like context, props, refs, updater, is mounted, and other things. So by updating the values for these inner properties and calling the methods in the component class instance, React knows how to update the application based on its components. Throughout the course, we're going to dive deeply into the topics that you're seeing here for these inner properties. Most immediately, we'll look at state, props, and mounting. Overall, I hope this has made the component part of React feel more clear and given you insight into how React components actually work under the hood. Now that we've taken a closer look at this, let's focus on the next core concept of React, state. If you enjoy this content, head to davidtkatz.com. There, you'll find links to full courses, as well as to reach out and connect with me. For React and Redux in particular, you'll want to check out udemy.com/React Redux Bootcamp. This is a course I made to help you learn React and Redux the right way, and to turn you into React and Redux developer. Okay, see you in the next one.